Hey, hello, and welcome to the Whole Loaf, a holistic approach to building healthy lives and strong relationships. My name is Paul Bertzloff. I am here with my wife, Suzanne, and with author of 17 cookbooks, a food stylist to the stars. Wait a minute, you're not Deb Murray?
No.
Wow, look at what healthy eating and living can do for you right here. You look fantastic. This is actually Deb's daughter, Navarre, who is hosting with us this evening. And so what are we going to make tonight? What do we got going tonight?
I'm making Texas caviar or cowboy caviar. It's going to be a little bit of beans and a vinaigrette, really fun, healthy spin on a salsa.
All right, so a healthy spin on a salsa. I see we got our tortilla chips here. And it's that time of year, right? That you know, you got all the football games and all the championship games going on. That time of year we get together with family and friends. And so we're talking about dips, I guess, tonight.
We are.
So what do you got going on?
I'm actually going to make my world-famous guacamole.
World famous
guacamole. Very, very
all right.
easy.
And so I want to challenge you. Don't be a dip, okay? That's what I want to challenge you to do. You know, but before again, because we're making all these different dips, what do robots dip in salsa? Anybody know?
I'm afraid.
Microchips. Microchips out there. So Navarre, why don't you go ahead and tell us, start us off here. What are you doing?
Yeah, so far I have prepped here. We have some different kinds of beans. Traditionally, it's black beans and kidney beans. I choose to do garbanzo beans. Garbanzo beans are my favorite, partially because there's a liquid they're packed in that you can actually keep and use as an egg white substitute. So I use it in cocktails. So you can make like a whiskey sour or a gin fizz, but you can even do it to make meringue. So that's what this is right here.
You use garbanzo bean liquid
water
in
called aqua faba, and it works just like an egg white. It even kind of looks like an egg white.
Yeah, okay.
Are you gonna make Are you gonna make one of those drinks tonight?
Maybe. I have never heard of that before. But anyway, so we got some cowboy caviar working over here, and you're rolling out avocados, you're rolling out a lime
right now.
Getting ready for that.
Yes.
But you know, what I want to challenge you to do is, it's so easy for us to dip out of relationships, isn't it? When pressure starts building up, or when anxiety builds up, or stress, you know, it's so easy for us just to kind of dip out and to not be involved. You know, it's so I just want to challenge you, don't be dipping out. You know, most people in a relationship, especially with your spouse, they are searching for a friend for life. That's what most people want. But the truth is, for many, it's more of a hope than it is a reality. And so friendship needs to be nurtured. And it needs to be built up. You need to consciously take the steps to build up friendships in any of your relationships. Because, you know, if you don't, what normally happens is couples realize that their friendship is not there, and it's too late. They're already so far along the path of a destructive kind of path that they have a hard time building back up. So, do you ever think about it? I mean, what is a friend? When you guys hear the word friend, what do you think of as a friend?
It's that go-to person.
Yeah, that friend would be
always going to support you.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Somebody to talk to, that go-to person. It's somebody who supports you.
You can tell them anything.
Yeah, they're a companion. Somebody that you can tell anything to, and it's not going to be used against you. You know, when I think of friend is somebody you can like let the facade drop, right? You know, we put on those facades, those masks, and we walk around and like, hey, how's everything going? Now, what's going great? When in reality, you're hurting inside. And so a friend is somebody that you can relax with, somebody you can open up to, somebody you can count on, and somebody that's going to be there for you. You know, I always found it interesting. In Ecclesiastes, King Solomon, in all of his wisdom, remember Solomon was the wisest man on earth. In Ecclesiastes 4, verse 10, it says this: if one falls down, his friend can help pick him up. All right, and so making friendship, all throughout the scripture, is a priority. Making friendship and becoming best friends with your spouse, it is crucial. Because, you know, I mean, think about it. When you have friends, how does it help you? Did you ever think about that? I mean, you're more productive, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, a friend is there to support you. If you're feeling down or you need help, they're there to help pick you up. Or they're there to rejoice with you. They're there to help protect you.
They're there in the good times and the bad.
Yeah, in the good times and the bad. A friend is there for you. And so, you know, what we're focusing on here is one of the ways that you can build friendship is, first and foremost, we need to make time for them, right? We need to invite them over, to socialize, to fellowship with them, to create those opportunities for us to sit down and have some fun, to talk with each other. And one of the ways that we do that, especially during this time of the year, is hosting those social functions, whether it's an athletic event or whether it's just a celebration around Thanksgiving or Christmas or whatever it is. And so dips play an extremely important role in that, don't they? So what are you doing over here, Navarro? What we got working?
All right, right now I'm dicing up a pepper to go in there. We also have diced onion. There's going to be some jalapeno as well. And then of course there's some canned corn, and I choose to use Rotel over fresh tomatoes, just because it already has that nice little spicy kick to it.
Yeah, it's got those chili chives in it, whatever it is, doesn't it? So it spices it up for you a little bit. So you're just throwing everything here into a big bowl. So we got our garbanzo beans. I am a fan of the garbanzo. I know a lot of people are not. I'm not sure if I'm a fan of garbanzo bean juice, but I know I am a fan of garbanzo beans.
I will make you a fan.
You will have to prove this to me is all I've got to say. So anyway, did you hear the one about the detective? The detective who found a lost jar of cheese in the refrigerator. Yeah, you hear that one?
No, I haven't.
He cracked the cold queso. You get it? The cold queso?
Yes,
anyway,
we get it.
So very good. So what you got going on over here?
So I got some guacamole going on here. So it is tomatoes diced, and then I've got a bunch of red peppers, lots of cilantro, which I really think makes the dish. And the secret ingredient is, this is super cheap. You can buy it at any grocery store. You can buy it spicy or not. So if you don't buy it spicy and you want to add it, you can add a little bit of the Oriental spice to it, a little bit of olive oil and red wine. Mix it, serve it. It's fantastic.
And it truly is good. It's world famous.
It is world famous.
It's famous in our condo complex, I can tell you
Yes.
that much. So
Yes.
all the young people from all around come up for her guacamole. So, so the importance of friendship, right? So, one good friend, it's for adults, whether you're male or female, one good friend, okay, you can report better physical health, and not only physical, but even better mental and emotional health as well. So friendship for adults is extremely important. It's kind of interesting. Men, in all honesty, we stopped making friends after high school. That most of the friends that we have as men actually come from our wives. And so our wives are really kind of our social connection to the people around us.
So why do you think that is, that men really stopped making friendships?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I got no idea.
I thought you had this great
friends
thing.
with all of his friends from high school. I
Yeah.
actually find it strange that that's who
It
he
is,
hangs out
and I don't know what it is, but research says
That's
that
what
basically
happens.
we stopped making friends after high school. And so as adults, our friends are all centered around our spouses. All right. And so, friends, once again, I love there's this Bible verse, it's in Proverbs chapter 27. It says, wounds from a friend can be trusted, but an enemy multiplies kisses. And that's a powerful statement, because we all know those people, right? I mean, we all know those people that keep giving you compliments and they keep, throwing all that. You're not buying into it. It's almost like they're trying to sell you something. You're always questioning what their motives are. But when you have a friend can speak some truth into your life. Yeah, I mean, I've had this experience before where I've been able to speak some truth, and it wasn't pleasant. It wasn't an easy thing to do. But when you spoke that truth into their life, you could positively impact it, because they were doing something that was hurting them. And so that wound from a friend can be trusted, because they can speak the truth to help you get back on the right track and not hurt yourself. And I don't know if you've ever had that experience either, but in our world today, we're making some quick, easy dishes here, but in our world today, there are so many different barriers to friendship, isn't there? I mean, one, can you think of some barriers? Time, right?
Yeah, time.
Yeah, I know.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like even tonight, we're filming this at 7:30 at night, because of the time crunch. And Deb's not with us tonight because of the time crunch. She's out catering, and so she's had other commitments, and so it's hard, right? It's hard to make that time, and we get crowded out by busyness. But the strongest marriages, okay, and you've been married for going on 3 years, right?
Yes.
Yeah, 3 years already. But the strongest marriages have maintained a solid friendship. And we've talked about that before, that the basis to a good, healthy relationship is a strong friendship. And so we got to make sure that we make time to be friends, especially with our loved ones. Another thing, and I don't know if you guys have ever experienced this, but couples, the longer they spend time with each other, you date and you have a great time with each other, then you get married. I don't know if you experience this, but then all of a sudden, all of your interactions are focused on business, aren't they? And what happens is we don't talk like friends anymore. You know, because every time we interact with each other, we're talking about work, or we're talking about finances, or we're talking about the children, and we end up focusing on issues. And the friends, when friends talk, they focus on mutual interests, like, you know, these dips right here. What did you just do?
So I made a vinaigrette, just some olive oil, apple cider vinegar, sugar, salt, cumin, and garlic powder. So that's just kind of the base that puts everything together. Oh, and lime juice.
And lime juice.
Yes.
So you fresh squeezed the lime.
Yes, fresh squeezed lime.
Okay, but I see the garbanzo blood is still sitting over
Yes,
there, right? We're not touching the garbanzo.
That will
juice,
not
right?
be for this dish.
Yeah, we're not touching the garbanzo juice here.
That will be for post-production.
Okay. Okay. And so then you just mix all of this together. Do you let it sit for a while, or does it have to
Yeah, the
ferment
best-
or anything? Or
The best is if you let it sit in the refrigerator for about 2 hours. The flavors really start to build. The longer it sits, the better. I bring this to pool parties, so I'll do it like in advance at the house, and then like
okay.
pack it up and bring it out. It's always gone by the end of the pool party.
Yep.
I've actually I was telling Suzanne, I get the request that it needs to like come jarred, so that
Well, so
like,
you're gonna try to sell the stuff. Is that what you're telling me? So you can contact us.
Plus, if you're at a party outside, it's not going to get bad.
No, it's
Okay.
fine
Perfect.
room temperature and it's fine chilled as well. So and it just keeps getting better with age.
Not
Like us.
We get better with age, is what it is.
Yeah.
I know this is good because even Deb was telling about this last week. She was talking about your cowboy caviar here.
Yes.
And so I know you're like famous for it, right? So it's like
Within my
so-
friend circle, it's probably kind of like your
It's like
your
two or three
yes.
people, like
yeah,
okay,
it's like
yes,
all three friends
all
that I
three of
have.
them. They
But it's
really
great.
enjoy the cowboy caviar. Now, I know we kind of went through this very quickly, and so I just want to remind you that all of the recipes are online. So they're on oursaviorfl.org, and we have step-by-step directions with all the ingredients and all the recipes there as well. And so you can follow all of that. And so what are you doing over here? You just mashed these.
I'm ready, yes.
Oh.
So one thing, most people don't know how to buy an avocado, and is it ripe, is it not? So when you're actually at the grocery store, determine when you're actually going to use the avocado. And if it's going to be, like today, it needs to be firm, but just a little bit of, what I want to say?
Soft.
Just a little bit of soft, not mushy, just a little bit soft. And this is perfect for today, but if you can only find them hard, then you need to let them ripen for a couple of days. And you can just put them on the counter, or you can put them in a paper bag. Some people think you need to put a banana or an apple with them in the paper bag. I don't know, but just make sure that it's not too hard or too soft. But these are perfect.
Yeah, this
what
one
did
might
you
be a little
just do?
soft because it just bled all over me. But you know, I did not know this. So like down here in Florida, avocados are like tomatoes up north. Okay, so when they come into season, I mean, you can they bring hundreds of avocados in, and they're normally very hard.
Yes.
And once again, so we had to Google it. So you actually put them in a paper bag and just put them in your pantry, and over time they will ripen up.
They're
And so,
great.
Yeah, so I love the avocados. And there's a difference in avocados too. you're
Yes.
saying.
Yeah, so this is like a California avocado, but I, however, didn't purchase mine well. And it's
Yeah. So we're not going to
so
talk.
we're not going
We're
to
not going to talk about this avocado, but it feels a little soft. It feels
Yeah,
a
it
little
felt
mushy.
like,
Yeah.
yes, can I
You can have an
steal,
extra, yes.
avocado?
And it's the perfect ripeness for you.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
And so when it comes to friendship, okay, some of those barriers to friendship are what we said, time commitment, and we don't talk like friends. All right. Another one is conflicts. Okay, conflicts will erode your friendship. And once again, many couples, as they spend more and more time together, as they enter into marriage, and as work commitments increase, as children, once again we focus on the issues, right?
So, well, what happens if you kind of get into that vicious cycle where that's all you seem to be doing is just arguing?
And that's the truth. Oftentimes, that's what happens with couples. They no longer have fun together. They no longer talk as friends. It's always business, and it's always a lot of times negative. And every time you approach somebody, if they've got something negative to say, you don't really want to be around them all that much, right? And so you got to protect. I mean, you got to take care of family business. It's always tell couples, make sure you set aside an hour or two every week to take care of business, to talk about family business. But you need to protect the fun times. You need to protect your friendship. And so you protect your time together. And so, like, if you're out doing something, say you made your cowboy caviar, you're going out in the backyard or whatever, and you're just going to spend some time with each other. If an issue begins to show its head, you table it. You say, no, we're not going to talk about that tonight.
Yeah,
Let's talk
time
about
out.
that tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. or whatever it is. So you need to protect your time together. And you manage the conflict. You know, once again, if that conflict begins to escalate, you want to call a timeout, you know, let it kind of settle down, physiologically calm down, and then come back to it.
That makes sense.
Or you table it until the next day. And so, because, you know, when we start to get heated, when our conversation escalates, oftentimes we say those things that are hurtful, right? And once again, Proverbs chapter 12, verse 8 says, reckless words pierce like a sword. You know, and so when we say things, it's powerful. And if you say something that's mean or nasty, you know, sticks or stones will hurt, you know, what is it? Sticks or stones will break your bones, but names will never hurt me, is a lie. Okay, it takes a long time for those reckless words to heal. Yeah. And so the other thing I would challenge you to do is make sure you set clear boundaries around other things. You know, it's so easy for us to say yes to, you know, to a work commitment, or it's so easy for us to say yes to a social commitment, or when you have kids, you know, to have them lined up in 12 different sports where you're going to 2 different practices a night kind of thing. Right. And I think sometimes we just need to set clear boundaries and say, I can't do it all. I can't do it all, because you need to protect those relationships. This is what counts. This is what matters most. Strong, healthy relationships. So, yeah. Are we done here? We got some. I'm going to dip in.
Yes.
I am going to dip into some of these.
You didn't get a tomato. You got to make sure you get it all.
Sorry.
We're going to try it all.
It is excellent. Got all these good dips. So remember, don't try to dip out of those relationships. All right? Make sure it takes, friendship is a skill. It takes time, it takes energy, and you got to consciously do it. So practice some of those skills. Make sure you build those strong relationships. So did you guys hear about the one about he was a toothbrush salesman. And he was an excellent toothbrush salesman. And so one day his boss comes up to him and says, Bob, how do you sell so many toothbrushes? And so he tells his boss, he goes, well, what I do is I set up my table, and he goes, I lay out all of these toothbrushes, and then I put out some chips and dip. And his boss goes, wow, that's kind of an innovative way to sell toothbrushes. And so the guy, you know, he set out the toothbrushes, he put out the chips and dips, and he said to his boss, go ahead, have some chips and dip. And so the boss took a chip and he dipped it into the sauce, and he tasted it, and he goes, oh, that's a horrible dip, his boss yelled. The salesman replied, it is! Do you want to buy a toothbrush? No? Anyway. Hey, thank you very much for joining us once again. Remember, all of the recipes are online, oursaviorfl.org. You have a great day, and these are delicious. God bless.